the things I mentioned earlier was that I found it easier to spray the wheel carriages, stuff like that, after you painted the whole model on there. And what I've seen a lot of people do, and I've even done it a couple times, is you paint this part, the wheelbase first, and you mask them off with something. Some people use tissues, plasticine, silly putty, stuff like that. But I like to do it afterwards. So what I've done here is I've gone over and I've taped off the model. This is for the olive drab anti-glare panels to come on there. And I also masked that off on like the cowling here. So for this, I'm going to use the chamois tape. This is they label this in Tamiya, but it's a bigger piece of tape. So I'm going to cut off a strip like that. Oh, the other thing I'm going to want to do is use this one here. It's a fresh, very sharp blade. I've heard of some modelers, they mention how they go through about 20 blades on a single project. I think that's ridiculous. I don't know how you can do that. It's certainly not possible for me to do. Sometimes I use one on several projects, and I keep spare really sharp ones for stuff like this. So just pressing on the chamois tape like this, you can see the outprint of the wheel wells there. Looks pretty good, and this is just the easiest thing to do. And it gets a little bit trickier, you'll see here towards the end, and that's why you want a very sharp knife when you're doing this. Yeah, okay, I see what that is. It's the, okay, good. So let's trim this here. And, oh, come on, yeah. I don't really like these X-Acto or knife blades that I've got. The points in this end, they're not like pointy, they kind of curve to a point. I don't like that. Wish they were more blunt, like just straight edge. Anyway, so we're gonna cut this out here, take this out, like that. And that's all there is to it, guys. Just burnish off the edges a little bit. And, I might want to add a little bit of tape over here, over the rack pylon here, just in case, when you're spraying that it doesn't go over. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll make kind of like a little tent out of this stuff just to keep it all in there. And now this is just really easy to just airbrush this. I really don't see how kind of doing it the other way sometimes doesn't seem to be easier. Although there's some models where you kind of do need to do it that way. But that's all there is to it. That's how easy it is to mask those off. And yeah, I'm gonna go finish masking these. So I've unmasked all the tape off of the models here, and came out pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with that. Nice anti-glare panel. I don't really like Tamiya olive drab, to be honest. I think it's a little bit too dark. So what I think I'm gonna do, open this here. It's creaking for some reason. What I think I'm gonna do is like buy a couple paints and mix my own olive drab, because like I said, I don't really like this. It's just not as nice. Now I did run into a very, very unfortunate problem. I'm pretty peeved about this. I thought the paint was dry enough, but it wasn't. Is the red has all this tape residue on it. So yeah, I'm pretty upset about this. It's stupid. I don't know why the heck
These Tamiya paints aren't drying quick. These glossy ones, they're driving me crazy. Yeah, there's the plastic. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do with these is I'm just gonna retape them and paint them again because I have to paint the cockpit. Sorry, the canopy frame. So yeah, I'm just mad. I hate going back and like having to do extra work like this. It's cause you know, you did it once and it's like, oh, great, and nope, I have to go back and do it again. So it's what are you gonna do situation. So I'm just gonna grin and bear it because like I said, I have to paint the canopy windows anyways. So what I'm gonna move on to now, and this is all nicely painted yellow there at the bottom. Look at that. Looks really great. What I'm going to move on to now is the landing gear assembly. So I'm just going to paint those and build all that junk and get that on here because I'd like to stamp these up now. It's about that time.
So right now my desk is a hopeless mess. I've got to spend some time here and clean it up a bit more, but I wanted to show I repainted the cowl. They look pretty nice. Quite happy with that. I'm going to leave these alone for a little while longer. I'm going to take the tape off and let them dry for quite a while actually. And here are the window sections. And they're all painted nicely. Like I said, I'm also going to leave these alone. I don't want to bug them. I want to let them dry a little bit longer. And once they dry more, then I will attempt to peel the maskings on them. They took a lot longer to paint. I should have primed them first. I wasn't even thinking about that. But yeah, I should have done that. They would have not required as many coats of paint on them. But I got it to work anyways, so you know that all works out. So taking a look here, I've got the landing gear bits, and one thing that Rob mentioned, basic modeling. He said that the Academy kit is good, but that the landing gear is too long. So I have attempted to shorten them here, and they are not as short as the Revell ones. They're close. So I'm about a millimeter off. It took quite a bit to get them this size. This is about how much. Let's see if I can get this. This is about how much I removed from the struts. But these are ready to go. You know, now I can just set them in here. Oh, I think I got that backwards. Yep. This one goes here. And this one goes here. So what I'm going to do now is paint them. I don't even know how these things fit in here. I think like that. I'm going to paint these silver. I'm going to paint the tail wheels silver. I'm going to paint the black tires. I'm going to go do all this stuff right now because I'm ready. I'm basically ready to decal the thing, which I'm pretty excited about. Actually, I just thought of this. I can remove these now. Let me just. So, yeah, these need to be painted. This needs to be painted green, and I hope the window covers that. I'll wait and see. I can add in the gun sight and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, it's just basically now. That one looks a lot better. This one was better to tape over than the Academy one here. Did the best I could there. Yeah, now it's just on to finishing, kind of coming up to the end of the build here. Oh yeah, the other thing too is to paint and assemble the engines. but these are going to be like dead last type of thing. So I'm going to go and get to work on all this stuff. Lots of work to do on that front. So I've actually gotten a lot of work done on, parts. I've almost completed the engines. They're almost done. I've got to do the propellers, and I did a bit on the cowling, and I'm so close to being done. I got the gear covers added on there. I was so excited. Um, I looked at the gear covers and I thought, I'm ready to decal tomorrow. And then I remembered something I forgot to do. I forgot to paint the third color on the aircraft here. The third silver. And that was, I'm going to use for this, what is this one called? Flat aluminum. I don't know why they put that on the back of the bottles with the testers. It's kind of silly. Anyways, I'm going to mix up the paint, because I haven't done that yet. And this will just take a while to do because it is metallic. And yeah, like I said, I bought this for another project, but it's way too dark for what I want. So I'm going to use it for this. I thought it was a lot brighter, but they've got another one that I'm going to use. Another silver. I think it's chrome. Anyways, just ramble on here while I stir this up. Okay, that looks good. So I'm taking one of my smaller paintbrushes and I'm just going to take, let me just check my fingers, make sure. Ugh. So like there's a panel, let me just get this in the frame better. Panel right here. No, it's not stirred up enough, so I'm gonna have to go back here in a minute and just keep stirring it. And then tonight, this shouldn't take that long to dry because it's fairly thin and it's fairly small. But yeah, it's definitely not mixed enough. This could take me a while to do. It's one of the reasons metallic colors can be really frustrating. They take a lot longer to get working. Okay. So yeah, I'm just hand painting these on. I could airbrush these, but that'd be a lot of work. So yeah, now when you look at it, don't know how well it'll show up on here, but when I take pictures it should show up pretty well. You can see the tones here of the aluminum. You got the overall chrome, and now you've got these other little bits that are painted a darker silver. And it actually looks kind of close to the Tamiya silver. That's still quite a bit darker. But anyways, I'm going to go and do some more prep work here. I'm going to stir this up a bit more, but that's about all you do. So I've decaled the Thunderbolts. I'll show you guys this. And here I actually repainted the chief face. You know, remember I said I was going to do that in darker colors. Well, I did do it. They went on pretty well on this Academy one. They weren't too bad. They're a bit transparent, which is kind of annoying, but I think they look good anyways. The propeller shaft assembly is a joke. It doesn't fit. It's got this. I should show this because it was really stupid putting it all together here. So if you are building this, just be prepared. So I hope this registers. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So you've got the front part of the engine here. You've got this back part of the engine, and there's a cylinder here, which fits onto this little circle nub there. So you put these halves together, and you put the shaft through here. And in between this cylinder is way too much space. So I followed these instructions, and it basically fell. When it was out, it was about to here. When I tried to put the propeller on, it went all the way back in, basically, to the engine, because this isn't long enough. So what I ended up doing is I tore off the cowling, I tore out the engine, and I put a little ball in here from a needle. It's actually right here. I ripped it off. I put that in the back there. That gave it the adequate enough room. And so actually when you tip the model around, you can actually hear it rattling around in there. But works pretty good. It's pretty cool. And the Revell one was a nightmare because I tried to get it to fit and it got stuck, and so I tried to pull it out and I ended up ripping out the pin. And yeah, here's actually the parts to it. It's too damaged to fix, so I did the same thing. I used a needle, and it's crooked, but they both spin remarkably well, so I'm pretty excited about that. The lacquer thinner cleaning up the super glue on the canopy, again, it worked really well. So I'm actually pretty stoked about that. The Revell decals were really nice. They were quite a bit nicer. They like to conform a little bit more, which I loved, especially here on the cowling. So getting them to form around the cowls wasn't too difficult. And so the last thing that I did is I gave it 2 coats of Future, and that's really glossy now. I can feel it, and it's great. So I'm pretty excited about that. So the next step here is to add on the black enamel wash. And again, this is Tamiya panel line accent color. I'm a little out of breath right now. I just moved a very heavy table over a long flight of stairs. So this is just easy stuff, and you can, make this stuff if you want. You don't have to buy it out of a bottle. I like it in this. I like this Tamiya stuff. It works pretty darn well. And there goes the telephone. So I'll be back once this is done and I've answered the telephone.